McCarthy's shrieking denunciations and fear-mongering have created a climate of fear and suspicion across the country, raising the question in households across the nation. Who are the un-American Americans amongst us?
Any man who has been named by either a senator of a committee or a congressman is dangerous to the welfare of this nation.
President Eisenhower refuses to engage directly with McCarthy. In a letter to his brother, however, Eisenhower explains as for McCarthy only a short-sighted or completely inexperienced individual would urge the use of the office of the presidency to give an opponent the publicity he so avidly desires. Time and time again, without apology or evasion, I, and many members of this administration have stood for the right of the individual, for free expression of convictions, even though those convictions might be unipulant and for unanswered use of our libraries, except as dictated by common decency.
Of it.
Monsieur. Je dient you come in. You frightened me half to that.
Wouldn't want to do that. There are so many better ways to die. Please turn off that noise. Is everything ready?
Oui.
Good. Cook.
You called, sir?
Everything on schedule?
Dinner will be ready at 7:30, sharp.
Ah, right on time. You have your instructions?
Oui.
Very well then. Let the game begin. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm not sure if I'm in the right.
Yes, indeed you are expected, Colonel.
How do you know?
It is Colonel Mustard, isn't it?
No, that's not my name. My name is Colonel.
I believe it's been recommended that tonight you use a pseudonym.
Oh, no thank you. I took him into histamine before I came.
May I take your coat?
Oh. All right. I suppose I.
Not to worry, Colonel. It's just the maid, in the hall, with the champagne cork.
Champagne?
Oh, don't mind if I...
Oui, monsieur.
Ah, thank you. Are you expecting someone else?
Indeed. I'll be with you in a moment.
Follow me, colonel.
With pleasure, my dear.
To come in, madam. You are expected. Welcome.
Do you know who I am?
Only that you are a socialite to be known this evening as Mrs. White.
Yes.
May I introduce you? Mrs. White, this is the maid of it. I see you two know each other.
Nonsense. We've never met.
Champagne?
I think not.
Please, warm yourself in the lounge.
Why, do I look cold?
A bit. I'll be right with you.
Oh. Hello.
Hello. Pleased to meet you.
I'm rarely pleased to meet anyone. More?
Bonjour, madame. Place, comme in from the Rhin.
Mrs. Peacock, I presume.
Who? Oh yes, that's me.
Cook, will you please take Mrs. Peacock's stole? I see you two know each other.
Don't be ridiculous, I've never seen this woman before in my life.
Champagne?
My lips belong to the Lord.
Please, make yourself comfortable in the lounge.
Thank you, oh, for your hospitality, and there's a couple of Benjamins hidden under the caramels for you, butler.
How? Sticky.
I expect to be treated like the wife of...
Hold that thought. Right this way. After you, Mrs. Peacock.
Oh my, look at the detail of this molding, this is quite a magnificent mansion, isn't it? Who are you?
Welcome to the party.
This is turning out to be quite the crowd.
Is this the right address to meet Mr. Body?
Sit. No, not you, sir.
Sorry.
Please, come in.
Excuse me, I suppose this letter has me rather anxious.
You must be Mr. Green.
Yes, that's exactly who I am.
Welcome, sir.
Whoa, This isn't at all what I expected.
I find if you expect nothing, you're never disappointed.
Oh, I'm not disappointed.
Pardon me, sir.
Please arrive at 7:30 sharp on Saturday evening. Well, here I am.
Professor Plum.
If you say so.
Well, well, well. And I thought I'd seen everything.
Miss Scarlett, welcome. I didn't realize you and the professor were acquainted.
We're not, the bridge is washed out from the rain. My car broke down, and this professor offered to give me a ride.
I'm hoping she'll return the favor one day.
Subtle. I didn't realize we were headed to the same place until we arrived.
How was your drive?
It's a long haul.
Indeed, it is a long haul. But then, it's a very large house. This way, please.
Say. What is this god-forsaken place anyway?
This old place? Oh, this is Body Manor. Cook. Dinner.
Directly.
Appetizers in the lounge. After you.
Hors d'oeuvres. Good. I'm starving. Funny. I haven't had much of an appetite at all.
My, this really is a party.
Well, greetings all. It's a pleasure for you to see me. Ooh, cocktail hour. There are so many of you I didn't realize.
Right. Good then. You're all here. Colonel Mustard.
Present.
Miss Scarlet.
Him?
Mrs. White.
Yes.
Professor Plum.
Right.
Mr. Green.
That's me.
Mrs. Peacock.
How do you do?
Greetings. I am Wadsworth, the butler. Tonight, as you may have surmised, nobody is being addressed by their real name. A courtesy your host has provided to ensure your privacy. I suggest you follow his lead and refrain from revealing too much about yourselves this evening. You never know when. Dinner.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I'm a bit clumsy, I suppose. Dinner? That was more like a cocktail minute.
Mr. Wadsworth, you were saying. You never know when. What?
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 Whom? This way, please. We really oughtn't keep her waiting. Cook can get cranky. Ladies and gentlemen, follow me. The dining room is right this way. You'll find your names beside your places. Please be seated.
This place, at the head of the table, is good for you?
Indeed no, sir. I don't sit. I am merely a humble butler.
What exactly do you do?
I buttle, sir.
Dinner is served.
Thank you, cook.
All right then, what's all this about, butler, this dinner party?
Ours not to reason why, ours but to do and die.
Die?
Merely quoting, sir, from Alfred Lord Tennyson.
I prefer Kipling myself. Do you like Kipling, Colonel?
Sure, I'll eat anything. So, who is our host? Is this where he sits?
All in good time, sir.
What is that smell? It's something familiar.
Shark fin sous.
My favorite.
I know.
Bon appétit.
This is delicious. Well, I guess I'll break the ice. I'll be the one to get the ball rolling. I'm used to being a hostess. It's an integral part of my life as the wife of a. Oh, I forgot. We're not supposed to say who we really are. But, oh well, I have no idea what we are doing here, but I'm very intrigued and oh my, this soup is delicious, isn't it?
I know who you are.
You do?
I work in Washington. Washington? So you must be a politician's wife, Mrs. Peacock.
Yes, I am.
Who's your husband? Maybe I know him.
Well, he's Mrs. White, you've been awfully quiet. What does your husband do?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Well, he just lies around on his back all day.
How lazy.
Not necessarily.
Sorry. I'm afraid I'm a little accident prone.
That'll be $5, mister.
Sorry?
Mr. Green, what do you do in Washington?
Oh, I'd better not say. I like to follow the rules.
Well, if I wasn't trying to keep the conversation going, then we would just be sitting in an awkward silence.
Are you afraid of silence, Mrs. Peacock?
Yes. No. Why?
In my professional opinion, it seems you suffer from what we call pressure of speech.
Is that an official diagnosis?
Are you a doctor, Professor?
In psychological medicine.
Do you practice?
Not anymore. I currently work for the government.
Ah, another politician.
Not exactly. I do research for you-know-who.
Who?
A branch of the United Nations Organization, the World Health Organization.
Ah. You know who. It's an acronym.
I have a sister who is a gymnast.
You are a real colonel, aren't you?
I am, sir.
Aren't you gotta mention the coincidence that you also live in Washington, D.C., Colonel?
How did you know that?
Oh, I've seen you before.
So, Miss Scarlett, does this mean that you live in Washington, too?
Sure do.
Does anyone here not live in Washington?
Oh. Then, is this about the Red Scare? I'm not a communist. I'm a Republican.
Wadsworth, we've had about enough of this. Where's our host, and why have we been brought here?
Ah, speak of the devil. Pardon me, please.
Hey, I've got an idea. Oh yes, good thinking, Miss Scarlett.
What are we doing?
The acoustic coupling between the door and the glass allows sound waves to travel from one side to the other.
All the guests have arrived as expected, sir. Everything's going according to plan. We'll meet you in the study. Ahem.
Oh, for goodness sake. Who was at the door? I demand to know what's going on.
Can I interest you in any fruit or dessert?
No.
Coffee? Brandy?
Thank you, Ovid. That will be all.
Oui, monsieur.
Well, where's our host?
He's not here. Nobody's here. What is happening?
Cigarette? It'll calm your nerves.
I don't smoke. What did I do with my liquor?
For Wadsworth. Opened after dinner. It's for you.
Right then, are you comfortable?
I make a good living.
Oh, out with it, Wadsworth.
Ladies and gentlemen, these instructions are clear.
I'm glad something is.
It seems the 6 of you have all received the same letter. It will be to your advantage to be present on this date, because a Mr. Body will bring to end a certain long-standing confidential and painful financial liability. As it turns out, you all have one thing in common.
That bastard McCarthy. We're all being blacklisted, aren't we?
Close, Colonel. You're all being blackmailed. For some considerable time all of you have been paying more than you can afford to someone who threatens to expose you.
Oh please. What's someone going to blackmail me for? I go to church every Sunday.
Yeah, lady, don't we all?
Anybody else wish to deny it? Until you'd received your letters, you hadn't known who was blackmailing you. But now, I'm sure that even the least discerning amongst you has determined that the man behind your ransom is Mr. Body himself.
Yes, I figured as much, but who is this fellow?
And who are you? His henchman? You pompous British bastard.
It's Mr. Body. What a scoundrel.
All this stress is not good for my blood pressure.
You think I can't handle a little blackmail? Who is this Body fella, you British butler?
Who Mr. Body is no concern of yours. Suffice it to say, he's a supporter of the House Un-American Activities Committee, and he feels your activities have been decidedly un-American. My task this evening is to expose your secrets to each other, rendering you all culpable in each other's indiscretions.
But we hardly know each other.
Precisely.
Don't you think that you might spare us this humiliation?
I'm afraid I have no choice. We'll start with you, Professor Plum.
Ooh, this ought to be good.
It says here you were once a professor of psychiatry, specializing in pathological, lying lunatics suffering from delusions of grandeur.
Yes, but now I work for the U.S. government.
So, your work has not changed. But you can't practice medicine anymore, can you? Your license has been lifted, correct?
Why? What did he do?
You know what male doctors aren't supposed to do with their lady patients?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he did.
How awful. You know, someday there will be a reckoning for men like you.
I hope so. Me too.
You're disgusting.
Are you making moral judgments, Mrs. Peacock?
Well,
How then do you justify taking bribes in return for delivering Senator Peacock's votes to certain lobbyists?
My husband is a paid consultant. There's nothing sinful about that.
Not if it's publicly declared. But if you slip cash under the stall door at Old Ibbot's Grill, how would you describe the transaction?
I'd say it stinks.
When were you in that men's room?
So it's true.
No, it's a vicious lie.
But you've been paying blackmail for over a year now to keep that story out of the papers. Seems a little sticky, no?
Now see here.
Well, I'm willing to believe you. I too am being blackmailed for something I didn't do.
So am I.
Me too.
I'm not.
You're not being blackmailed?
Oh honey, I am, but I did what I'm being blackmailed for.
What did you do?
I run my own business. That's not a crime. You didn't ask what kind of a business I run.
All right, what kind of business do you run?
I provide gentlemen with the company of a young lady.
An escort service in Washington.
How scurrilous.
I'm sure some people are just a little lonely.
A man who needs to pay to spend time with a woman. That's a problem I'll never have. Is that how you knew Colonel Mustard works in Washington? Is he one of your clients?
Certainly not.
I was asking Miss Scarlett.
Well, you tell him it's not true.
It's not true.
Is that true?
No, it's not true.
Ha. So it is true.
A double negative.
Double negative. You mean you have photographs?
That sounds like a confession to me. In fact, the double negative has led to proof positive. I'm afraid you gave yourself away.
Are you trying to make me look stupid in front of the other guests?
You don't need any help from me, sir. Colonel, looks like you hold a sensitive security post in the Pentagon. Those negatives would most certainly compromise your position.
And what position exactly were you caught in, Colonel?
This is an outrage.
Let's see, who's next? Mrs. White, you've been paying our friend the blackmailer ever since your husband died under, shall we say, mysterious circumstances.
Say what you want. I didn't kill him.
Then where are you paying the blackmailer?
I don't want another scandal, do I?
Another?
We had a very humiliating confrontation. I don't think he loved me very much. He had threatened to kill me in public. Why would he want to kill you in public?
I think she meant that he had threatened, in public, to kill her.
It was all over the papers.
And yet he was the one who died. Not you, Mrs. White, not you.
He was found dead at home. Unclothed. His head had been cut off and so had his. You know. But I didn't do it. I'd been out all evening, at the movies. Now I know what you meant by your husband just lays on his back all day. In his coffin. What are you? The Black Widow? I already told you, I didn't kill him. I was at the movies that night. Really, what were you watching? The Naked Alibi. A likely story.
But he was your second husband. Your first also disappeared.
That was his job, he was an illusionist.
But he never reappeared.
He wasn't a very good illusionist.
And lastly, Mr. Green, who is a...
I don't need you to unmask me, Wadsworth. I know what you're gonna say about me.
What's that?
Mr. Green, who is a homosexual.
Not me.
I beg your pardon?
What? You just asked, who is a homosexual? And I said, not me.
Yes, thank you, Colonel. But there's more to it than that, Mr. Green.
How do you mean?
There's evidence to support the question of your politics.
My politics? Since when is working for the Republican Party a crime?
You swore an oath of allegiance to the Republican Party, but neglected to vote for Eisenhower in the last election. That's grounds for an ousting, if ever there was one.
But voting records are confidential.
Everything has its price, Mr. Green.
So, there you have it. A crooked senator's wife, a lascivious doctor, a disloyal Republican, and so forth. Not exactly adhering to an all-American standard of behavior, are you?
Depends on who you ask.
But if this body fella is such a noble civilian himself, then why didn't he report us to the authorities?
And give up the opportunity to make a quick buck. Come now, Professor, what could be more American than that?
Apple pie.
All right, Wadsworth, so we're being blackmailed by a renegade McCarthyist. Where does that leave us? Where is this Mr. Body?
And what does he want from us?
Who cares? I'm not waiting to find out. I've done nothing wrong. I'm leaving.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Peacock. You can stay in denial, but you cannot leave this house.
I am the wife of a great senator. You can't tell me what to do. Locked.
Indeed. All the doors are locked. The windows are barred. And the grounds are patrolled by vicious dogs. There's no way out. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce your host for the evening, and your blackmailer for life, Mr. Body.
How do you do?
Who do you think you are? I'll have you brought before Congress.
I thought millionaires were supposed to be good-looking, you swine. Boy, would I like to give you a piece of my mind. And I don't even like confrontation.
Why are you blackmailing us? I'm frustrated that I find you attractive.
Bribing all these good people? I don't get it. What's in it for you?
You're such a typical man. Better off dead. Ooh. Mrs. White, in the study with her knee. Thank you. I've studied martial arts.
There is one more piece of information you may like to have.
What?
The police are coming in less than an hour.
What? The police?
Unless
Unless what?
you agree to double down.
And why would we agree to that?
Because if you don't, I'll put this briefcase containing all the evidence needed to expose your wrongdoings in the hands of the police, the press, and the House Un-American Committee. With the right spin, those fellas can make a commie out of anyone. I think some of you would face a lifetime of jail, and others, a lifetime of shame.
That's why you brought us here? You bastard. Get that briefcase.
Unless,
Unless what?
well, there is something you could do for me that would change the game. Something I just can't bear to do myself.
What?
In this bag, there are 6 packages that I thought our guests might find useful this evening.
Packages.
Presents, if you will. I'm a generous sort of fellow.
Are you?
Wadsworth, will you please see to it that each guest receives a gift?
Gladly.
Anyone want to make a guess as to what's in your boxes?
Perfume? Candy?
A rare single malt Scotch whiskey.
Aren't guessing games fun? Please, open them.
A candlestick? What's this for?
A wrench?
A lead pipe?
A dagger.
A revolver?
Ah, a snake. Oh, no. It's a rope.
In your hands you each have a lethal weapon. You all came tonight because you believed the evidence against you was so terrible that you would do anything to keep it a secret. I'm putting that theory to the test.
You are?
Mr. Wadsworth here is the only other person who knows your secrets, and it's costing us all dearly to keep him quiet.
What do you mean?
I wouldn't have to double your payments if I didn't have to pay Mr. Wadsworth for his silence.
Wadsworth.
He may look suave and charming,
Thank you.
but really he's conniving and manipulative.
False.
Why do you think he's called the police?
You called the police?
Only because he instructed me to do so.
Did I? Ladies and gentlemen, all you need to do is get rid of Mr. Wadsworth and I'll have no need to expose you to the police.
Get rid of?
Does he mean kill him?
In fact, if you can eliminate Wadsworth,
Yes, I think that's what he means.
who not only knows all of your secrets, but also mine, then I will eliminate your blackmail altogether and be done with this terrible business once and for all.
You would never.
But why make us do it, buddy? Why don't you do your dirty work yourself? Yeah.
Why should I when the 6 of you are so uniquely motivated and armed?
What a patriot.
After all I've done for you. He's a liar. I'm one of you. I'm not a butler. I'm an indentured servant.
A familiar refrain. Don't make a scene, Wadsworth. It's over. The police are on their way. Now's your chance. The only way for you to end your blackmail and avoid finding yourselves on the front pages is for one of you to kill Wadsworth. Now.
It's Mr. Body.
Oh, thank God.
Is he breathing?
Stand back. I'm a doctor. He's dead.
Who had the gun?
I did.
So you shot him.
I didn't.
Well, if you didn't, then who did?
Somebody grabbed it from my hand, and the next thing I knew there was a shot.
There's no gunshot wound.
He's right, there isn't. Look, there's a bullet lodged here.
Eagle eye, Miss Scarlet.
Well, if the bullet's over there, then how did he die over here? I don't know. I'm not a forensics expert.
Something else must have killed him. One of us must have killed him.
Well, don't look at me. I didn't do it.
I need a drink.
Maybe Mr. Body was poisoned by the brandy.
Poison!
There, Mrs. Peacock. I'm sure you'll be just fine.
It is not all right. I've been poisoned.
Oh, for goodness sake. Well, someone had to shut her up.
Was the brandy poisoned? How should I know?
Looks like now we'll never know.
Unless she dies too.
The screams are coming from the billiard room. It's locked. Who's in there? Who's screaming?
C'est moi.
Ovid.
Oui.
Ovid, are you all right?
Non.
Yvette? Are you alive?
Of course I'm alive, you idiot. No sagt to you Wadsworth. You will look at us up in the house with a murderer.
So the murderer is here.
Oui.
Where?
Where? Here. Where are you looking him? Horror.
What took you so long?
I'm an old woman who may or may not have been poisoned. It's amazing I'm anywhere.
Are you all in the study? One of you is the killer.
How could you hear us in the study?
You are listening. You have a tape recorder in the billiard room connected to the study. Monsieur Body asked me to record your conversation.
Why would he ask you to do that?
For more evidence, of course. Wadsworth revealed your secrets in the study. No, they are all recorded.
What a snake. I've got to destroy them. Where are the tapes?
What about the tap? What about the body?
What body?
Body's body. But, Yvette, why were you screaming in there, all by yourself?
Because you were frightened. He also drank the cognac. M'a bien empoisonned too. Plus, one of you is the killer. Monsieur Body is dead.
We have to figure out which one of them did it.
What do you mean which one of them?
Well, I didn't do it.
Well, one of you did. I would have killed him myself, but I didn't have access to a weapon.
Don't look at me. All I got was a candlestick.
Maybe it wasn't one of us. Who else could it have been?
Who else is in the house?
Only the cook. The cook.
As far as I can tell, the cook's not here.
What a lovely kitchen. My husband and I had a kitchen very similar to this in our first brownstone. It has such a homey feel, doesn't it?
It's the cook. With a dagger in her back.
Someone must have killed her.
I didn't do it.
This makes two.
Two what?
Murders.
I hate murders.
I think you'd better explain yourself, Wadsworth.
Me?
Yeah, you. Who else would want to kill the cook?
I mean, dinner wasn't that bad.
How can you make jokes at a time like this?
It's my defense mechanism.
Some defense. If I were the killer, I'd kill you next. Hey, I said if. There's only one admitted killer here, and it's not me. It's Mrs. White.
I've admitted nothing.
You paid a blackmail. How many husbands have you had?
Mine or other women's?
Yours.
5.
5?
Yes, just the 5. Husbands should be like Kleenex. Soft, strong and disposable.
Well, if it wasn't you, who was it? Who hid the dagger?
It was Mrs. Peacock.
Yes, but I put it down.
Where?
In the study. Any one of us could have picked it up. Well then, it must have been Mr. Green.
Can somebody please help me?
Good Lord, let him up.
You really ought to learn to speak up for yourself better, Mr. Green. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Gentlemen, might I suggest we take the cook's body into the study?
Why?
For starters, when the police arrive, if they find this, we'll all be in custody and under suspicion for murder.
Murder.
And secondly, I'm the butler. I like to keep the kitchen tidy.
The body's gone.
What are you all staring at?
Nobody.
What do you mean?
Nobody. Nobody. Mr. Body's body. It's gone.
Maybe he wasn't really dead.
He was.
We should have made sure.
I thought I had.
So was he dead or wasn't he?
Maybe he was dead, but someone moved him.
Who had moved him? And why?
How should I know? Well, if he's not here, then where is he?
Oh my, all this excitement. If you'll excuse me, I have to is there a little girl's room?
Oui, oui, madame.
No, I just want to powder my nose.
There is a toilet aussi the billiard room.
Ah. I don't mean to alarm anybody, but we do currently have the small issue of 2 dead bodies, 1 missing, 1 present, and the imminent arrival of the police.
The bridge is washed out. That should buy us some extra time.
Puis donne-toi extra time. I want the police to arrive. I am trapped in the house with a murderer.
But once the police get here, the rest of us are doomed.
Wadsworth, am I right in thinking that there's nobody else in this house?
No.
Then there's someone else in this house?
Sorry, I said no, meaning yes.
No, meaning yes?
Yes.
Look, I want a straight answer.
Don't look at me.
Wadsworth, is there someone else in this house? Yes or no?
No.
No, there is? Or no, there isn't?
Yes.
There seems to be some confusion about whether or not we are the only people in this house.
There isn't.
There isn't any confusion, or there isn't anybody else?
Either. Both.
Just give me a clear answer.
What was the question?
Is there anyone else in the house?
No.
That's what he says, but does he know?
Look, we've got a killer on the loose. The missing dead body of Mr. Body, a cook with a dagger in her back, and all these easily accessible weapons. The rope, the revolver, the candlestick, the wrench and hey, where's the lead pipe?
It's Mr. Body. He's attacking her. Oh God, he's so bloody. Stand back. He's dead.
That's what you said last time.
I believe in second chances.
Mr. Body. Dead. Again.
I'm going to faint.
I'll catch you. Sorry.
Mrs. Peacock,
Yes?
where did this happen?
In the bathroom. I opened the door and there he was. At first, I thought he was attacking me, but then I realized he'd been left propped up against the doorframe, dead, just waiting to fall on someone. Excuse me while I down this bottle of liquor.
Who would do such a thing?
Takes a lot of guts to kill someone twice.
It's what we call overkill.
But why? What's the difference?
Makes a difference to him.
Makes a difference to us. We've got to find out who killed him, where and with what.
Seems like it was probably the lead pipe.
10 points, Professor Plum.
What kind of game are you playing, Wadsworth?
This isn't a game.
You. The lead pipe belonged to you. But I dropped it while running to the kitchen. People don't just drop murder weapons. I didn't know it was a murder weapon when I dropped it.
So anyone could have picked it up?
Yes, of course, but who did? Who did pick up the lead pipe? Who picked up the lead pipe and brutally murdered Mr. Body, leaving him dead and bloodied in the bathroom? Who did that? Who? Who? Who?
Cool it, butler. While you lose your marbles, I'm over here trying to do something useful. Have you all forgotten about the evidence against us?
The evidence.
Body's briefcase is locked. There must be a key.
Mr. Green, would you be so kind as to check Mr. Body's pockets for the key to his briefcase containing the evidence of our crimes, so that we may destroy said evidence once and for all?
Why me?
Why not?
Well, all right. Where are my gloves?
Where did you get that?
I don't like germs.
Or fingerprints?
No, mostly it's really just germs. Oh God, it's so warm. Ah, got it.
It's empty.
Empty.
Then where's all the evidence?
I told you Body was a liar. Had the evidence in his briefcase, my foot.
We must find that evidence.
And destroy it.
Evidence against us aside, first things first. We're in a room with 2 dead bodies.
And the cops are on their way.
Let's move the corpses to the couch so they look less dead.
Some party this is turning out to be.
Help me, Monsieur Green.
Careful. Don't get guts on the ground.
Solid battlefield technique, Professor Plum. Never leave a man behind.
Cadavers are heavier than they seem, aren't they?
I wouldn't know.
Right, me neither.
Upsy daisy.
Here, prop her up.
Aren't you all strong and virile?
Good. They just look asleep. Forget about the bodies. We need to do something about this room full of murder weapons and the homicidal maniac on the loose.
Let's put the weapons in the bag.
What good will that do?
Then we'll zip up the bag.
Most murderers know how zippers work, Mr. Wadsworth.
I know. We'll put the bag in the safe.
Terrific. Where's the safe?
In the hall. Shush.
I don't see a safe.
Is that an original Trumbull, Mr. Wadsworth?
Those are quite valuable.
Now is not the time for art appreciation, butler. Oh.
A hidden safe behind a portrait. How original.
There. Locked.
Voilà.
What are you going to do with the key to the safe, Wadsworth?
Oh yes. The key.
I'll put it in my pocket.
But what if you're the murderer?
I'm not.
But what if you are?
I've an idea. We'll throw it outside.
Oui. À l'extérieur.
But it's raining à l'extérieur.
I'm not suggesting we go outside. I'm suggesting we stay inside, but throw away the key.
But you'd have to open the door, wouldn't you?
I would.
But what if the killer is outside? Better out than in. Yes! We'd want to keep him outside, wouldn't we? If we open the door, we risk letting him back in.
But maybe, if we open the door, we'd encourage the killer to go out. The killer seems to be doing a fine job of opening and closing doors all by himself. I don't see how us opening the door for one tiny second could possibly make any sort of a difference.
But what if we open the door, throw away the key, and the killer catches it? Then the killer would have the key we're trying to confiscate.
We might be overthinking this. I'm going to throw away the key. Follow me.
Is it the police? Or worse, the killer?
How should I know? Besides, I don't think the killer would knock on the door.
Then maybe you should open the door so we can see who it is.
Okay. Nope.
Well, are you gonna open the door or not?
I don't think so.
Just open it.
I'd rather not.
Just shut up and open the door.
Fine, I will. Actually, on second thought.
Wadsworth.
Okay. Not now.
Was that the killer?
He didn't look like a killer.
Takes one to know one.
Leave him to me. Interrogation is my specialty. How do you do?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disturb the whole household, but my car broke down out here, and I was wondering if I could use your phone.
Are you a killer?
What? No!
All right, this way please.
Thank you. Well? Where is it?
What? The body?
the phone. What, buddy?
What? There's nobody. There's nobody.
Right. There's nobody in the study.
No, that phone's been disconnected. But I think there's one in the lounge.
Alrighty then.
Now listen. We haven't much time. Our task is twofold. 1. Find the evidence. 2. Find the murderer.
We've got one potential suspect contained in the lounge, but that leaves the whole rest of this place up for grabs. Who knows what's behind all these doors?
I suggest we handle this in proper military fashion. We split up and search the house.
Split up?
Yes, well, split up into pairs. That way none of us will be alone.
But if we split up into pairs, whichever one of us is paired with the killer might get killed.
Mon Dieu.
But then we would have discovered who the murderer is.
But the other half of the pair would be dead.
This is war Peacock. Casualties are inevitable. You cannot make an omelet without breaking eggs. Every cook will tell you that.
But look what happened to the cook.
Colonel, are you willing to take that chance?
What choice do we have?
None.
I suppose you're right.
All right, troops. Divide and conquer. I'll split us into pairs. Eeny, meeny, miny.
No.
Excuse me?
Mrs. White, you come with me. Professor Plum, you're with Mrs. Peacock. Arvid, you go with Mr. Green. And Miss Scarlet, you're with Eeny Meeny.
But what if someone doesn't come back?
We remember you fondly. Now, leave no door unopened. And cherish your partner. This might be the last person you ever see.
Go on. I'll be right behind you.
That's why I'm nervous.
But why? It's just us. We're alone.
That's just it, Mrs. White. No man in his right mind would ever want to be alone with you.
Fine. You go in there and I'll go in here. Are you going in?
Yes, are you?
Yes.
On the count of 3. 1. 3.
Nothing in that room.
Nothing in that room either.
Shall we search the ballroom?
After you.
This is quite an impressive library.
How can I find anything if I don't even know what I'm looking for?
Civilized society is perpetually menaced with disintegration through this primary hostility of men towards one another.
Your fancy words don't intimidate me, Professor.
I take no credit, Mrs. Peacock. Freud. I think he's onto something.
Now is not the time for academic pursuits. We are supposed to find the evidence.
It's a fruitless search, if you ask me. I mean, it's not like we're just gonna walk into a room and find the evidence plastered on the wall.
I suppose you're right.
Come on, let's go upstairs. Maybe we'll be excited by something in our bedroom.
I haven't been excited by something in a bedroom for years.
I'm a little nervous. I'm at that big house on the hill, and I've been locked in the lounge. I didn't expect there would be a whole group of people here. I think they're having some sort of party. And the funny thing is, I think one of them is my customer. Yeah, my regular Tuesday night passenger.
PSSD.
Oh, there you are.
You will never believe what I found in the hallway. Professor Plum's stupid tobacco pipe.
What do you think that means?
Who knows, but it seems suspicious if you ask me.
I just did.
Honestly, Colonel, this is the last room we have to search in this beastly mansion, and we still found nothing.
I think this time has been productive nevertheless.
Aren't you a Pollyanna?
You're a brave and determined lady, Miss Scarlet. I've really enjoyed our time together. I hope after this expedition ends we can remain friends. I mean, really, murders aside, it's just been a lovely group of people all in all. I suppose I would like to hear Mrs. White explain when and how she lost her veil in the billiard room.
You found Mrs. White's veil in the billiard room? Odd.
Odd?
Odd. Well, she's got some explaining to do.
Indeed, she's got something to answer for.
A trapdoor. A trapdoor leading to a secret passage. Come on.
Ladies first, Miss Scarlet.
Aren't you a gentleman? How heroic.
Where are we now?
How should I know? The lights are off.
We'll turn them on.
I would if I could see anything.
Well, I'm going to feel my way around.
Don't get any funny ideas.
A table.
A telephone.
A chair.
A body. A body. Ah, find the door.
Get me out of here.
Help. Help. Murder. Murder.
Let us in. Let us in.
Let us out. Let us out.
We can't let you out. The door to the lounge is locked.
You had the key, Wadsworth. You locked the motorist in here.
That's right. I did. I do. I don't. The keys are gone.
Y avait une idée.
There's a murderer on the loose. Please get us out of here.
There's no alternative. I'm just gonna have to break down the door. Stand back. I'm a doctor.
Stand back. I'm a woman.
What happened? What was that? Help. Murder. Help.
Li will help you. I'm done shooting at you. The door is open. You can come out now.
Why were you shooting at us?
To open the door.
But you could have killed us.
He said stand back.
Let's add finding the key to the lounge to our priority list.
Say, Frenchie, where did you get that gun anyway?
The staff. Li were locked.
Unlocked?
Impossible. I have the key. No, I haven't. It's gone.
Gone? Not to beat a dead horse, but, again, I feel like having all the keys is really important.
I thought you said you'd throw away the key to the safe, Wadsworth.
I did say that. But I didn't do that. We got distracted by the motorist at the door and I forgot. One of you must have snatched the keys from my pocket when we were searching the house.
So whoever took the keys is the killer.
Precisely.
Speaking of the killer, there's a dead body in the lounge, you know. The motorist is dead.
Which one of you killed him?
Excuse me? We found him together.
And he was already dead.
But the door to the lounge was locked.
We went through a secret passage we found in the conservatory.
A secret passage? Who designed this place?
The Parker brothers. Don't worry, it's not the police.
It's the police.
I'm going to open the door. It's the decent thing to do.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, officer. We've been expecting you.
You have?
We haven't?
I got a tip about an abandoned car near the gates of this house. Did a motorist stop by for help, by any chance?
No. No, yes.
There seems to be some disagreement. At any rate, can I come in and use the phone?
No. Of course you may. There's a phone in the lounge.
Out of order.
Of course, my mistake. You can use the phone in the study. Out of order.
If you please, you may want to use the phone in the library. Right this way.
You're all acting rather peculiar.
It's because our chandelier fell down. It could have killed us. But don't worry, the maid will clean it up.
That's all well and good, but what's going on in the lounge and study?
Lounging, studying. This way.
Let me have a look.
No thank you.
What?
This way please.
Actually, I'd like to take a look around if you don't mind.
Of course, officer. Follow me. I'll take you on a grand tour of Body Manor. This home was built by Lord Reginald Body in 1784. Lord Body had been declared Lord Body after somebody discovered an antibody that would save everybody. Notice the mahogany floor. Did you know, in the 17th century, the buccaneer John Esquembling recorded the use of mahogany for making canoes? Can you canoe?
What? Hey, where'd everybody go?
Notice the brass doorknobs, crafted specifically for Lord Body and his buddy in 1878.
I don't care about the doorknobs, mister. What's going on around here? What are you hiding in those two rooms?
Ah? Which two rooms?
The lounge and the study.
No, officer. I don't think you should go in there.
Why not?
Because it's all too shocking.
Hello officer. Welcome to the party.
That wasn't all that shocking, mister. Those folks were just having a good time. Why didn't you tell me this was a party?
My apologies, officer.
I'll just take a peek in the lounge, if you don't mind. Excuse me?
Evening, officer. How'd you do?
Are these men drunk?
Dead drunk.
Want a sip?
Oh, I can't drink while on the job. The chief would kill me.
Killed if you do, killed if you don't.
What?
Huh.
I can explain everything.
No explanation necessary. There's nothing illegal about any of this.
There's not.
Of course not. This is America, and that was the pursuit of happiness. May I use your phone now?
Certainly, in the library.
Thank you.
All is clear. You can come out now. Well done, all of you. Impressive. All right, I've locked him in the library.
How'd you do that? I thought you didn't have the keys.
I didn't have my right pocket keys. But my left pocket keys are still intact. Now, let's finish searching the manor. The police are on their way.
But the police already came. Not in the broken down car. Police. The criminal investigation. Police.
Precisely. We must find the evidence, and we can't afford to have any more murders. This is getting dangerous. Now, go!
Hello, hello. A power outage. Must be the storm. Oh, hello, Chief. Yes, this is. Hello, hello. Are you still there? Is this phone working?
Hello? What's your name? That's the light? Hello? Oh. It's only you. You scared me. Is what you WER the killer?
Did somebody cut the line? Hello?
Oh, did you find a clue? What is in your hand?
All good. Can you hear me? You see, I found an abandoned car and wound up in an old mansion, where all the lights just went out. I'm telling you, Chief, there's something funny going on around here.
Hey.
No. Let there be light.
Do you hear that?
Sounds like a telephone is off the hook.
It's coming from the library.
That's where the killer must be.
I'm going in.
Aren't you afraid?
Of course.
Of what? A fate worse than death?
No. Just death. Excuse me, cop. Are you all right? Do you need assistance? A phone book, perhaps?
Listen, copper. The butler asked you a question. Hang up the telephone already or I will.
We should be safe here in the billiard room.
I don't feel safe.
I can't relax. How about a round of pool to pass the time? Sure, okay. Yvette's dead. With a noose around her neck.
I am your singing telegram.
3 murders in 3 minutes.
That's our best record.
3 murders. 6 altogether.
The cook, Mr. Body, the motorist, the cop, Yvette, and the singing telegram girl.
But who is the murderer?
Ain't that the $1,000,000 question?
Sometimes the most obvious answer is right under our noses. I think the best course of action is to retrace our steps. It all started like this. At the start of the evening, there was thunder, lightning, the dogs barked. Ding-dong. Colonel Mustard. Ding-dong. Mrs. White, who noticed of it. Mrs. Peacock, who noticed the cook. Then Mr. Green. Sit. No, not you, sir, please come in. Then Professor Plum. Miss Scarlet. Dinner is served. Well, that was more like a cocktail minute. Shark's fin soup. Ooh. Yummy, yum, yum. My favorite. Then Mr. Body arrived and we all went to the study. Coffee. Brandy. Who is this Mr. Body butler? How do you do? Then Mr. Body asked me to pass out packages. Ah. A snake. No. It's a rope. Then Mr. Body switched off the lights. Mr. Body was dead. But not really. Really, he was alive. But we didn't know it. Then Mrs. Peacock drank his drink. Poison. Ah. Well, someone had to stop her screaming. And then we heard Ovid screaming. Long story short, we found the cook dead with a dagger in her back. We found Mr. Body dead for real. We still had to find the evidence. But it was empty. Then a motorist showed up unexpectedly. Dead. Then an unexpected cop showed up. Dead. Then the maid got strangled. Dead. Then that brings us to I am. Your singing telegram. Bang. And here we all are.
Bravo!
Impressive, Wadsworth.
But what does it prove?
Nothing.
Enough of this. I already know who the murderer is.
You do?
I do.
All right then. We're listening, Miss Scarlet. Who do you accuse?
It was Professor Plum, in the hall, with the revolver.
Wow.
We all heard the gun go off, Professor. And I found your stupid tobacco pipe here when we were searching the house. When did you drop it, huh? While scoping out the best vantage point to kill your next victim? I bet that poor singing telegram girl was an old patient of yours, right?
I never saw that girl before in my life. It wasn't me.
Well, the gun is missing. Gentlemen, turn out your pockets. Ladies, empty your purses. Whoever has the gun is the murderer.
Well done, Wadsworth. You won't be able to prove anything if you're all dead.
That may be so, Professor Plum. But if we're alive, officers, that's your man.
Well done, Wadsworth.
That's what I said.
Yes, well, I'm saying it now. I'm handcuffed, Chief of Police. And Professor Plum, you coming with me?
That's not how it happened. It happened like this.
All right then. We're listening, Professor Plum. Who do you accuse?
It was Colonel Mustard, in the lounge, with a wrench.
I never lounge.
I found your Medal of Honor in the lounge, where the motorist was killed by a wrench to the head. And that wrench belongs to you.
That's a lie.
The wrench is missing. Gentlemen, turn out your pockets. Ladies, empty your purses. Whoever has the wrench is the murderer.
Well done, Wadsworth.
There's your man, officer. Not a kernel of truth in him.
Well done, Wadsworth.
That's what I said.
Yes, well, I'm saying it now. I'm guilty verdict. Chief of Police. Colonel Mustard, you coming with me?
You have it all wrong. It happened like this.
We're listening, Colonel. Who do you accuse?
It was Mrs. White, in the billiard room, with the rope.
I'd rather die.
I found your veil in the billiard room. And I saw how you cringed tonight when Yvette served you dinner. Admit it. Confess.
Yes, it's true, I knew Yvette. She had a torrid love affair with my late husband. I hated her. I hated her so much. The flames. flames, on the side of my face. Breathing, heaving breaths. But just because she stole my husband doesn't mean I killed her.
Given your track record with your husbands and killing them, I beg to differ. So you killed him too.
The rope is missing. Gentlemen, turn out your pockets, ladies.
Well done, Wadsworth.
Well done, Wadsworth.
That's what
Well, I'm saying it now. Mark my words, Chief of Police. Mrs. White, you're coming with me.
It happened like this.
Mrs. White, who do you accuse?
It was Mrs. Peacock, in the kitchen, with the dagger. I found your feather by the corpse.
Empty your purses.
Well done.
Well done, Wadsworth.
That's what?
I'm saying it now. I'm Barry Hatchet.
Chief of Police.
Mrs. Peacock, I'm placing you under arrest.
But that's not how it happened.
It happened like this.
It was Miss Scarlett, in the library, with the candlestick.
Maximum. Chief of Police. Miss Scarlett, you're under arrest.
Wadsworth. You can't do this to me. Don't let them take me away. You can't do this to me.
Frankly, Miss Scarlett, I don't give a damn. But it really happened like this. I know who the murderer is.
Who?
All of you. Freeze. Nobody move. You're all killers.
You can't prove anything, Mr. Wadsworth.
I'm not Mr. Wadsworth. I'm Mr. Body.
How can you be Mr. Body if Body bled all over me?
It wasn't Body who was bleeding.
But if Body wasn't Body, then who was he?
He was Wadsworth, my butler.
But if you're the real Mr. Body, then what was the point in dragging this all out?
Well, when you started murdering people, I decided to roll the dice. See if you'd self-implode. Kill off my entire network of spies and informers. Which you all did, splendidly, by the way, generously leaving your fingerprints on every glass, doorknob, and dead body. So now I have each of you on the hook for murder.
Murder.
Bribery and petty crimes is one thing. But murder? Now that could get expensive.
But why this whole charade?
The searching of the house, the madness of retracing our steps.
It's all part of the game.
Game.
Well, yeah, I'm relaxed now, you see. Now that you've killed everyone off, there's no evidence left against me. I've got off scot-free. But the police will be here any minute. You'll never get away with this.
What's so funny?
Nobody's called the police, have they? They were never on their way.
Now listen up, you reprobates. We're gonna stack the bodies in the cellar, lock up the cellar door, leave body manor one at a time, and forget that any of this ever happened. I can't forget all this. With murder on the menu, the price of blackmail just tripled. Forgotten. Now move.
Wait a minute. We can all rush him. He's got no more bullets left in that gun.
Oh come on, you don't think I'm gonna fall for that old trick?
It's not a trick. There was one shot at Mr. Body in the study, 2 for the chandelier, 2 at the lounge door, and 1 for the singing telegram girl.
That's not 6.
1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1.
Hold on, there was only one shot that got the chandelier. That's 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1.
No, look, even if you were right, that would be 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1, not 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1.
Okay fine, 1 plus 2 plus. Shut up! Point is, there's 1 bullet left in this gun, and anybody who moves is gonna get it. So you're just gonna keep blackmailing us and we're all supposed to pretend this never happened? Of course. Why not? I'll tell you why not. Larry Goodman. FBI. The jig is up. Or is it? Missed me.
You're FBI?
Apparently I'm a dead ringer for Green. He got a letter just like each of you. But he came to the bureau to ask for help. I took his place tonight so we could have a sting operation.
Some sting. 6 people died on your watch.
I usually work the desk. My beat is property crime, you know, theft, fraud. That's why I was so tickled when the real Mr. Wadsworth risked his neck to drop off a whole briefcase worth of evidence last night. You had the evidence this whole time? It's all here. Miss Scarlett's books, including names of customers and employees, justifying why she killed the cop. She used to work for her and was gonna expose her.
Hey, gimme that. Oh, never mind. You can't have that.
What's this? A love letter addressed to Professor Plum. No, that's private property. On second thought, you can keep it. That singing telegram girl was the teenage daughter of the head of the you-know-who would have come clean to daddy, who would have cleaned out Professor Plum. So you killed her. Now see here. And these negatives, Colonel. Quite the regular at Miss Scarlett's brothel. Bet you couldn't be a colonel anymore if that motorist had informed your general where he drives you on Tuesday nights.
I just wanted somebody to talk with.
Shark's fin soup indeed, Mrs. Peacock. Too bad your old cook couldn't keep quiet. If only she hadn't blabbed about your briberies, maybe you wouldn't have killed her just before joining us outside the billiard room. Now we know what really took you so long.
Circumstantial evidence will never hold up in a court of law.
But this notarized record from the cook will. And Mrs. White, you weren't lying, were you? You really did hate Yvette.
Flames. Flames on the side of my face.
Okay, we get it. Here's a container holding fingerprints collected at the scenes of your previous murders.
I never murdered my husbands.
Fingerprints I'm sure the FBI will be able to match to those found on the noose tied around Yvette's neck.
I wore gloves.
Oh, you mean these? And last but not least, Mr. Bobby Body. It's Robert. Now you didn't hate Yvette at all, did you? What's it to you? Illicit green card love affair is the icing on the cake of this FBI file. And FBI on the whole Body family. Your butler, the real Wadsworth, has been feeding us information for months. Talk about a real American. He was British. You know what I mean. I see why you'd want to kill him. Twice. Your shot missed him in the study. But he wisely played dead. And it wasn't till you caught him trying to escape that you bludgeoned him to death with the lead pipe I dropped on my way to the kitchen. I mean, really? Who drops a murder weapon? I didn't know it was a murder weapon when I dropped it. The Body family has been wanted for organized crime for generations, but they've always eluded the law. Until now. Tonight, the Body business has reached a dead end. You leave my family out of this. Ow. Hold me, Larry, it's so dark. Second wind. If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked you a cake. Here we go, I'm gone. He's dead. Not yet. Come on. Smile, when your heart is breaking. Smile. Mama. Now I'm dead. I tell you, this was the most exciting night I've had in a long time. And now, you're all under arrest. Officers, here are the criminals you've been looking for, and you'll find the recordings of the confessions we've been waiting for in the billiard room. Oh, the tapes.
All right. Who done it?
They all did it. But if you want to know who killed Mr. Body, it was me, Special Agent Larry Goodman, in the hall, with my gun.
Well done, Goodman.
And that's how it really. Oops, sorry, accident prone. Okay, Chief, take him away. I'm going home to sleep with my wife. That was the Music Nerds production stage play of Clue, based off the game Cluedo, and the 1985 movie by Jonathan Lynn. Now, introducing the all-star cast. Jalissa Foster, Tyrone Moore, Angelica Esposito, Scarlett Jackson, Ashton Grant, Chris Johns, Marie-THÉRÉSE Lambert, Yoko Miyazaki, Timmy Smith, Brielle Ramos, Samir, Tasha Smith, Chief Albert Gray, aka Redneck Cop, and last but certainly not least, the leader of the Music Nerds, the character that started all of this. He also played the lead role Wadsworth / Mr. Body, SIDNEY MÁRQUEZ. And now a few words from our director, Jaden the Animator. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out to see our production of Clue, based off of the board game Cluedo and the Jonathan Lynn movie. The main reason I wanted to do this is because I starred in Clue as Colonel Mustard in my high school production junior year. So I had to get my characters to do a rendition. Cheers to Clue on stage.
Who knows? It seems suspicious if you ask me.
I just did.
Honestly, Colonel. Well, we're still trying to look for evidence in this beastly manner, and we still have found nothing.
Well, I think this time has been productive, nevertheless.
Aren't you a Pollyanna?
You're a brave and determined lady, Miss Scarlet. I really enjoyed our time together. I hope after this expedition is over, we can still be friends. Perhaps I'd like to hear Mrs. White explain how she dropped her veil in the billiard room.
She dropped her veil in the billiard room? Odd.
Odd?
Odd.